The presence of the Kandake in a single scriptural verse represents a profound structural redaction of a continuous matrilineal sovereignty that originated in the stellar tracking circles of Nabta Playa. Long before the compilation of patriarchal texts, the matriarchs of the deep desert observed the cyclical ascensions of Orion and Sirius, aligning their physical structures with celestial mechanics. 2. Within the domain of Taseti, these celestial alignments form the foundation of a cosmological blueprint where terrestrial governance mirrored the harmony of the stars. The women who held the knowledge of these alignments established a societal resonance based on natural magnetism and the organic cycles of the earth and sky. 3. As this understanding flowed northward along the Nile, it manifested in the material cultures of Nakata I. Here, the artistry and daily implements reflected an interconnectedness with the land, devoid of the hierarchical stratification that would later define subsequent epochs. 4. The transition into Nakata II and Nakata III witnessed the codification of this stellar and terrestrial harmony into intricate symbols and monumental architecture. The matriarchal lineage served as the custodians of these blueprints, ensuring that the alignment between the earth and the firmament remained unbroken in their daily practices. 5. The establishment of Kerma formalized this matrilineal inheritance into a centralized physical expression along the river. The prosperity of Kerma relied on the continuous application of the astronomical sciences first mapped by the ancestral mothers at Nabta Playa. 6. In Napata, the sovereign power remained intrinsically linked to the female line, an unbroken chain of biological and spiritual inheritance. The rulers of Napata understood that true authority derived from the resonance of the Earth's magnetic fields, a science guarded by the reigning queens. 7. The emergence of Meroe represented the pinnacle of this materialized cosmological science, a civilization entirely oriented around the supreme authority of the Kandake. The Meroitic civilization was not merely a political entity, but a vast, functioning resonance chamber attuned to celestial frequencies. 8. The Meroitic script, often misunderstood as a mere alphabetic system, functioned as a complex cipher for vibrational and astronomical data. The matriarchs utilized this script to record the exact terrestrial coordinates necessary for aligning with the energetic grids of the firmament. 9. Each symbol carved into the sandstone of Meroe holds a specific frequency, a deliberate preservation of the matriarchal cosmology. This written record served to lock the stellar alignments into the physical architecture of their cities and temples. 10. When the patriarchal frameworks of the Hellenistic and Roman empires expanded, they encountered this formidable matrilineal structure. The conflict that ensued was not simply territorial, but a collision of fundamentally opposing cosmological paradigms. 11. The 21 BC treaty with the Roman Empire stands as a historical marker of this collision, where the Kandake Amanarenas defended the geographical and spiritual integrity of Kush. The patriarchal forces sought to superimpose their hierarchical structures over the magnetic resonance of the matriarchal lands. 12. The patriarchal scribes, tasked with consolidating history into a singular narrative, recognized the power of the Nile Valley matriarchs. To neutralize this power in the written record, they employed a strategy of textual reduction and erasure. 13. The compilation of the biblical texts occurred during a period of intense patriarchal centralization. The narratives were actively shaped to establish a patrilineal descent and a theology focused on singular male authority figures. 14. In this systematic revision, the vast continuous history of the female sovereigns of Taseti, Kerma, Napata, and Meroe was deliberately omitted. The complex science of the Meroitic script and the astronomical alignments of the Kandakes posed a direct challenge to the new written orthodoxy. 15. The singular mention of Candace, Queen of the Ethiopians, in the Book of Acts reduces an unbroken lineage of cosmic custodians to a passing historical footnote. This isolation of her title strips the Kandake of her cosmological context and her role as the anchor of the matriarchal frequency. 16. By rendering the Kendake as a solitary figure, the texts disconnect her from the foundational sciences of Nabta Playa and the architectural resonance of Meroe. The redaction serves to elevate the new patriarchal narratives while obscuring the ancient matriarchal blueprints. 17. This textual strategy functioned to rewrite the memory of the Nile Valley, replacing the interconnected stellar harmony with narratives of dominion and subjugation. The profound astronomical knowledge held by the women of Kush was written out of the emerging global doctrine. 18. Despite this textual erasure, the physical evidence of the matriarchal cosmology remains indelibly etched into the landscape. The precision of the stone circles, the alignments of the pyramids, and the frequencies encoded in the Meroitic script endure beyond the redacted pages. 19. The original text of the matriarchs is not found in paper scrolls but in the granite and sandstone monuments that align perfectly with the cyclical return of Sirius. Their literary tradition is a living, magnetic science that requires an understanding of the Earth's natural resonance to decode. 20. The truth of the Kendakes outlasts the singular biblical reference, as their legacy is written in the permanent architecture of the firmament. The unbroken lineage of the Nile Valley matriarchs continues to broadcast its original frequency, inviting a return to the harmonious celestial and terrestrial alignments they so carefully preserved.